We believe our mom is still out there. If you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
Like and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live and make a video. Y'all already know what to do. Let's get into this. Let's get to Savannah Guthrie's updates. I wanted to talk about this for like the whole weekend. I went on the news and spoke about it. But Savannah Guthrie's updates are very interesting. And I told you guys from the very beginning, and I'm not some oracle or anything, and I don't know if I'm 100% correct. But when I look and evaluate the totality of circumstance in this case, this does not look like a ransom to me. If somebody wanted to do a ransom, they would directly communicate with the person they want the money from. I don't think they'll be putting it all out in the media. And if you want to get a ransom successfully, you would get it from somebody who's not as popular and beloved as Savannah Guthrie. Because immediately when the story hit the news, everybody's going to know. You're going to have people all over the world looking for you. Or, you know, at least the United States of America looking for you. Anything that's off, anything in the area. So you put a target on your back. And then the full weight of the United States government is behind this. You got to be either the dumbest extortionist or this is not what they try to make it look like it is. I'm not accusing anybody because I don't want to get sued. But the first prime suspect for me would be the brother-in-law. The son-in-law. That's the last people that have seen her alive, the last people that dropped her off. She was in their possession before all this happens. I think that person is the lead person in the investigation, in my opinion. I don't think some random person went in their house and did this. And let me tell you why. It's either completely random or it is calculated. If it's completely random, nobody will be in her house for 45 minutes plus strategically planning anything. It's a random robbery gone bad. Therefore, there would be no trace. There would be no planning involved. It's random. And we wouldn't have seen things transpire the way they have transpired, right? Random acts of violence, robberies gone bad, don't turn into a hostage/extortion situation. It just doesn't, because that takes planning. Now, if it's planned, then why would anybody pick Savannah Guthrie? You would pick a local person who's wealthy to do that to because you don't want a lot of public attention. You just want to get the money. If you pre-planned it, you would have taken all of her medication and you would have made sure that she was alive and you would have showed proof of life so that you can actually get the money you're extorting for.
Let me tell you something. I believe with all of my heart that every life has value. That's why I proudly stand with Save the Storks. They don't just talk about being pro-life, they live it. They are Life Army, meeting women where they are and showing compassion, truth, and hope before it's too late. Right now, there are 108 mobile medical units or stork buses across the country reaching women before they make a devastating choice or attempt their own abortion. These buses offer ultrasounds, counseling, and real support, giving moms the chance to choose life. But the mission needs you too. We're raising $500,000 to build and place multiple stork buses in Charlie's honor, and each one will be named after Erica Kirk as they travel across the country fighting for life. We need everybody to give generously and to stand up and to be part of something bigger than themselves. And for every gift of $50 or more, you will receive this free Life Army t-shirt. Join me in the Life Army. Together, we can help more moms, save more babies, and change more futures. So go to SaveTheStorks.com/Tatum or scan the QR code on the screen now to donate.
But let's go to the news and give you guys a couple updates. Roll the clip.
More than a week now since Nancy Guthrie inexplicably vanished from her home here, Savannah Guthrie and her siblings face a deadline, an unverified ransom deadline today. With no suspects and no leads, and faced with a demand for Bitcoin and a deadline today imposed by someone claiming to be her mother's kidnapper, Savannah Guthrie solemnly pledged to pay for Nancy Guthrie's return.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
The search has become a sensation for the public, but a private horror for the family.
We are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Investigators have returned repeatedly to Annie Guthrie's home, where her mom enjoyed dinner and a Saturday game night before returning to her house a few minutes away. Investigators have also returned to Nancy Guthrie's home, examining rooftop cameras, towing a car, and inquiring of neighbors. This drone video capturing investigators examining what appears to be the septic tank on Guthrie's property. The sheriff's department said this remains an active and ongoing investigation, but after more than a week, investigators have not identified any suspects, persons of interest, or vehicles connected to this case. And as the investigation begins a second week now, Robin, the FBI is still offering a reward, but information is sparse.
Now, let me translate that for you as a former police officer. They're not going to tell the public that they have a person of interest. They're not going to tell the public that they have leads, because the person who's involved in this, they know what they did, and they don't know what the police know. So when you think that you've gotten away with it, or you think that the police are not on to you, you think your DNA is not on anything in the house, then you'll become more careless, and you will end up getting yourself into a pickle. Meaning that you think you covered it up enough that you will show up on television and either act like you were a witness or maybe be somebody in the family, because they think they did enough job to get away with it. But in fact, the police department, I told y'all this from the very beginning, I think the police department know exactly who did it, or they have a tremendous lead.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers, and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock, trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
I told y'all this from the very beginning. I think the police department know exactly who did it, or they have a tremendous lead. And I think what they're doing is they're waiting, because once you arrest somebody, you only have a small period of time to prosecute that person before a grand jury. And if you arrest somebody too early, you don't have sufficient evidence, probable cause that will stick. You can get a case thrown out, and then therefore the trial is completely damaged, and you will never be able to prosecute that person. So sometimes they already know who they're going to arrest. They just need to collect as much evidence as they can to pin that person into the charge. Just like the Idaho murder. I told you guys, they know exactly who did it. They were trying to get metadata, this and this and this lined up, make the arrest so they can prosecute the guy in a reasonable amount of time. Let's go to the other one with Megyn Kelly, whom I have minimal respect for nowadays, but let's play this clip because I think Ashley Banfield, what's her last name? Banfield. Ashley Banfield has something interesting to say. Roll the clip.
So tell us what you say, very reliable law enforcement source told you about a possible suspect in the case.
Sure. So After almost 4 decades in this business, I've collected a few friends at the FBI and in local law enforcement all over the country. And the source that I have is impeccable. And he said that not only were the cameras smashed, plural cameras smashed, so that the suspect likely knew about the locations of them, but that the car belonging to the sister of Savannah Guthrie, Annie Guthrie, was towed, impounded, and taken into evidence. And this is the wording. It's very important. The wording is very important. He said they now believe the son-in-law may be the prime suspect. Those are the words. Son-in-law may be the prime suspect at this point. And I'm very mindful. I covered the Elizabeth Smart case. I was out in Salt Lake City for 5 weeks while Elizabeth Smart had vanished. And I recall specifically a lot of language saying Ed Smart is likely the prime suspect here. And so you got to be really mindful that, as you know, Megan, you're a lawyer. Police investigations start in the middle of the circle and they go out in concentric circles in terms of investigating family members, right? You start in the middle of the family, you investigate out from there. Then you go to contractors and friends and workers and everybody else who's had some contact. And then there's the randoms. So it is not surprising that someone in the family is being looked at. That language to me was pretty strident, though.
And I just want to say, and I'm not trying to make it about me at all. This is a very tragic situation. But I just want to make it a point that the very first day that I made a comment about this, I can go back and look at the video. You can go back and look at the video. I believe it was somebody in the family. Normally when people get killed like this or something like this happens, it's normally somebody that knows you. This person knew where the cameras were at, knew that the cameras existed. This person knew all of these things, allegedly. And then when you take somebody ransom, but you don't take their medication, which they're on life-threatening, could be life-threatening to them, you're not trying to get money. And you're not going to get any money unless you have proof of life. And I honestly think a family member was just sending these things out to divert attention, to buy time for them to find their getaway plan or whatever else they're trying to do. This smelled weird from the very beginning. Now, I don't know. It could be somebody random. I don't know. But based on my training experience and based on the things that I see, I think it may have been somebody in the family. The brother-in-law or the son-in-law, to me, is the prime suspect if I was doing an investigation with the limited knowledge that I have. I don't know. I'm not looking in Wales and all this other stuff. But I think that was a good observation that Ashley had said. Do we have another clip from Ashley? All right, one more clip from Ashley, then I'm gonna be done with this. Roll the clip.
So I was going through the scenarios in my mind. Okay, maybe the front door camera is smashed and the doorbell is rung to get Mrs. Guthrie downstairs, because that would be difficult in the middle of the night. It would get her down those stairs. So the confrontation might happen at the front door, right there at the tiles. There's a struggle. And then because the car is not parked right out front where all that could be visible potentially, maybe the car is around the back and that's why they go out the back door. And because
is that a
you're now
possibility?
struggling, I have no idea.
Could a car be
I'm
parked in the
surmising.
back?
I don't know, because I've been trying to see with drone video whether the car could get out into a darker spot or maybe out of camera view because the smashing has to happen. But I was told that the cameras were smashed, and plural. So if there's a camera in the back, camera in the front, smashed. And then, of course, Brian Enton noticed it and said, asked the sheriff, did you take them? Or do you think the guy or the suspect took them? And the sheriff had a funny answer. He said, yes, I noticed that too. We're looking into it.
Yes. So what he saw, Brian Enton saw, was like the remnants of a Nest camera, not even
Correct.
the Nest camera, right? Like it was clear
Correct.
to him that they had been removed, which is not
Yeah.
the same thing as destroyed. The sheriff is
There
saying
is.
that they were
Yeah.
destroyed right before we got to them. So he made it sound like they were destroyed by the perpetrator here, by the bad guy.
Sheriff didn't say on the news conference that the cameras were destroyed. Brian Enton shot that video and asked, the cameras are missing. Did law enforcement take them or did the perpetrator take them? And the response from the sheriff was, yes, we noticed that too. We're looking into it.
So that's just a little glimpse of what's out there. Comment and let me know your thoughts on this. I really do believe that this is very bizarre. I think the press conferences are bizarre. The ransom notes are bizarre. I mean, Bitcoin is taking a dump right now, so I don't think anybody want the longer you wait, the less that Bitcoin gonna be worth. So, and then Bitcoin, you know how crazy it is to get a ransom for Bitcoin and it dropped by 70%? Do you know how crazy that would be? That's why I don't think this is real. I think somebody's giving an illusion. You go get $1 million ransom on Bitcoin right now, which would probably get you, I don't know, 10 coins. Right now, it'd probably get you, 11 coins, maybe 12 coins or something like that. And then it drops 50%. Before you can cash it out, you just lost half of your money on taking somebody ransom, risking the rest of your life in prison for a coin that's unstable. I'm just saying.